Lily. Today I'm going to read you Roaldal Matilda chapter 20 part 2. Let's read it. Last time we read the third miracle chapter 20 part 1 and the finish was like this. It's writing something, screamed Nigel. The chalk is writing something. And indeed it was. I'm going to read you. Agatha. What the blazes is this? Yelled the Trunchbull. It had shaken her to see her own first name being written like that by an invisible hand. She dropped Wilfred onto the floor. Then she yelled at nobody in particular. Who's doing this? Who's writing it? The chalk continued to write. Agatha, this is Magnus. This is Magnus. Everyone in the place heard a gasp that came from the Trunchbull's throat. No, she cried. It can't be Magnus. It is Magnus, and you'd better believe it. Miss Honey at the side of the room glanced swiftly at Matilda. The child was sitting very straight at her desk, the head held high, the mouth compressed, the eyes glittering like two stars. This was like this. Agatha, it is Magnus. This is Magnus. It is Magnus, and you'd better believe it. And Agatha, give my Jenny back her house. For some reason, everyone now looked at the Trunchbull. The woman's face had turned white as snow, and her mouth was opening and shouting like a hare-but out of water and giving out a series of stunned gasps. Give my Jenny her wages. Give my Jenny the house. Then get out of here. If you don't, I will come and get you. I will come and get you, like you got me. I'm watching you, Agatha. The chalk stopped writing. It hovered for a few moments, then suddenly it dropped to the floor with a tinkle and broke in two. Wilfred, who had managed to resume his seat in the front row, screamed, Miss Trunchbull has fallen down. Miss Trunchbull is on the floor. This was the most sensational bit of news of all, and the entire class jumped up out of their seats to have a really good look. And there she was, the huge figure of a headmistress, stretched full length on her back across the floor, out for the count. Miss Honey ran forward and knelt beside the prostrate giant. She's fainted, she cried. She's out cold. Someone go and fetch the matron at once. The children ran out of the room. Nigel, always ready for action, leaped up and seized the big jug of water. My father says cold water is the best way to wake up someone who's fainted, he said, and with that, he tipped the entire contents of jug over the Trunchbull's head. No one, not even Miss Honey, protested. As for Matilda, she continued to sit motionlessly at her desk. She was feeling curious, elated. She felt as though she had touched something that was not quite of this world, the highest point of the heavens, the furthest star. She had felt most wonderfully the power surging up behind her eyes, gushing like a warm fluid inside her skull, and her eyes had become scorching hot, hotter than ever before, and things had come bursting out of her eye sockets, and then the piece of chalk had lifted itself up and had begun to write. It seemed as though she had hardly done anything. It had all been so simple. The school matron, followed by 5 teachers, three women and 2 men, came rushing into the room. By golly, somebody's floored her at last," cried one of the men, grinning. "Congratulations, Miss Honey." "Who threw the water over her?" asked the matron. "I did," Nigel said proudly. "Good for you," another teacher said. "Shall we get some more?" "Stop that," the matron said. "We must carry her up to the sick room." It took five teachers and the matron to lift the enormous woman and the stackle with her out of the room. "Miss Honey," said Tuckles, "I think you'd all better go out to the playground and amuse yourself until the next lesson." Then she turned and walked over the blackboard and carefully wiped out all over the chalk writing. The children began filing out of the classroom. Matilda started to go with them, but as she passed Miss Honey, she paused at her twinkling eyes, met the teacher's eyes, and Miss Honey ran forward and gave the tiny child a great big hug and a kiss. Today we read chapter 20, and next time we will read the last chapter of this story, A New Home. But it's very long. So tomorrow, not tomorrow, the next time I'll read chapter 21, part 1, New Home. And next time I'll read part 2 for you. Bye!